let's look at this application. The following information was found on the MyFitnessPal app. That's where I got this data. In 1 ounce of grilled chicken, there are 30 calories, 6.5 grams of protein, 1 gram of fat. Broccoli, a cup of broccoli, you have this data as far as calories, protein, and fat. Cheddar cheese, this 1 ounce of cheddar cheese has this data. Jasmine plans to make a meal consisting of these 3 foods. She wants the meal to be exactly 557 calories, 57.2 grams of protein, and 33.8 grams of fat. Apparently she's very specific about her diet, because those are some very strange random numbers. Or maybe that I contrived these a little bit, and I wanted to give you real data, so I didn't want to make up these numbers. So how much of each food should she use in the recipe? Let's write our system of equations first, and then we're going to see that because we have 3 variables here, we probably want to use Gauss-Jordan instead of the other methods that we had. Okay, she wants 557 calories total. That means if X represents the number of ounces of chicken and Y represents the number of cups of broccoli, and Z represents the number of ounces of cheese, we need 30 times X will tell us how many calories from the chicken, plus 31 times Y will tell us how many calories from the broccoli, and 115Z will tell us how many calories from the cheese. That needs to equal 557. We're going to do the same thing for the protein. 6.5x plus 2.6y plus 6.5z will equal how many grams of protein she wants? 57.2. And then last, x plus 0.3y plus 9.4z has to equal 33.8 grams of fat. These numbers are a little yucky, and they'll be okay. We can deal with them, but I'm going to show you something real quick. How much of each food should she use in the recipe? Let's write our augmented matrix. Since we have 3 variables here, I definitely do not want to use a different technique. Even though this can feel cumbersome sometimes, I do want to, I think it's better than, it's less error prone once you get the technique down than some of the other methods, I feel like. Okay, the first thing that I would do if I were going to solve this by hand is I would switch row 1 and row 3 to get my 1 in that spot. Just so you know, so you're kind of thinking about that. What I want to show you though is how to do this using a graphing calculator. It'll do the steps for you. So let me show you that. Get out your calculator and I'll get mine out. Okay. When you want to enter a matrix into your graphing calculator, you go into the matrix menu here, which is second and this x to the -1 power. So we do second and matrix. This has 3 menus across the top here. Names is just that. It's just the matrices by name, A, B, C, whatever. Math gives you some work that you can do on those things, like find determinant and other things that we are not going to talk about in this class. Edit is where we actually change the matrix and we enter the numbers. That's what we're going to use right now, is edit. I'm going to put it in A here, so I'm going to hit enter to select that. I am going to put this matrix in this matrix that we wrote here. I want to put that matrix in the graphing calculator. The first thing we need to know is the size of the matrix. Remember, we do size with rows by columns. So we have 3 rows here and 4 columns. We're going to ignore that vertical bar for the moment. That's really just to kind of help us distinguish it. So let's go over here. We want a 3 by 4, just as we have here. That's exactly what we want. And we're going to enter these numbers. So we have 30, then 31, then 115. And as you hit enter after each of these, it just goes across. 557. The next row is 6.5, 2.6, 6.5, 57.2. 1, 0.3, 9.4, and 33.8. So now we have our matrix in here. I'm going to hit second and quit to get out of there, because if I type anything at all at that point, it'll start putting those in place of those numbers. Let's go back to our matrix menu and go over to math. What we want to do is go down and find RREF. That's letter B here. That stands for Reduced Row Echelon Form. We're going to select that. And we want to put that matrix, which we put in the slot of A, we want to put it in Reduced Row Echelon Form. So we're under names here, we're going to select that. Close that parentheses. This is telling it to put that matrix that we entered in Reduced Row Echelon Form, which is that. That's super nice, right? 1's down the diagonal, 0's everywhere else. Remember, your vertical bar would be right here. Let's go back to our notes and write that down. When we do that Reduced Row Echelon Form in the calculator, we get, oops, it's not going to be enough space. One, 0, 0, 5, 0, 1, 0, I think it was 2, right? Yep. 2, 0, 0, 1, 3, which tells me x equals 5, y equals 2, and z equals 3. We could have done all of those operations by hand, and that's valuable to do, just to think through the process and understand what's happening. But with these decimals and stuff, those calculations could have gotten pretty labor intensive. So I'm okay in this situation with us using our calculator. The calculator should always be used as a tool to help you do things that you don't necessarily want to do, not that you can't do. So in this case, I don't really want to do these operations with all these decimals in them. I could, but I don't want to. Don't take that to mean like, I don't want to do anything, any math, so I'm just going to always use my calculator. No, 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 no. That's not what I mean by that. Let's really answer this question. Jasmine should eat 5 ounces of chicken. Remember, she wanted X represented number of ounces of chicken. 2 cups of broccoli and 3 ounces of cheddar cheese. Okay, so that answers our question, I believe. I always like to go up and reread the question just to make sure. How much of each food should she use in the recipe? X was number of ounces of chicken, Y was number of cups of broccoli, Z was number of ounces of cheese. So we're good there. This is the start of our study of using matrices to solve systems of equations. We are going to see more of this in the upcoming sections.